is up, guys? It is K-Rod here. I'm back with another good video for today. I'm going to be talking about the Devin Haney versus Jorge Linares fight card itself. Yeah, let's get right to it, man. I'm gonna probably talk about the Showtime card after this one, so just stay tight for that, or stay tuned for that. I'm going to get that done once I get this fight card done. So it's basically going to be a 2-in-1. I'm just going to start on this one fight card, and then I'm going to move on to the next. Yeah, let's go. Alright, so this is a pretty good card. Eddie Hearn did a decent job. I mean, the fight itself wasn't really the best, but he had some decent fights on the undercard. I'm going to talk about probably... Oh shit, dude! I forgot to talk about... I totally forgot to watch Atif Oberton. Dude, that's crazy, man. Yo, congrats him. Yeah, but I'm going to save that for later. And actually, Raymar Gaballo was supposed to fight Emmanuel Rodriguez, so that was pretty fucked up to not have that on the card as well. Don't know what happened, but I hope things go well with Emmanuel. He gets his fight and he beats the shit out of Gaballo. He's a piece of shit. But yeah, let's talk about the Devin Haney fight card itself. This is a really good fight card. I enjoyed a couple fights. Some fights I wasn't really too satisfied, but let's talk about the first fight, Amari Jones versus Jonathan Burrs. The second, Amari Jones basically beat the crap out of this guy. This guy wasn't really that good of a fighter. Honestly, I don't know who this guy was, but he doesn't seem to be the type of guy to be that good. I mean, he's only lost by KO once. Well, I'm not even too sure, honestly. Yeah. He fought, I guess, MMA, Cagezilla. Yeah, this guy's like an MMA fighter for some odd reason, but this is his first boxing knockout defeat. He lost by a brutal, I think it was a right hand or uppercut. Don't know what happened. Yeah. It was a straight right, according to Tapeology. But Amari, he did his thing. He beat the crap out of this guy. This guy just did not have an answer for him. Very good kid. He's a Devin Haney Promotions fighter. I hope to see him dominate once again. Honestly, Darren Cunningham was supposed to be on this card too, which was very fucked up. I don't understand why. I hope Darren Cunningham, he makes his return very soon, because he's a very good fighter and he deserves everything he has. So credit to Amari Jones. He did his thing. The second fight, this fight was very weird, and I don't know how this fight really became a blowout, but Ramla Ali defeated Michaela Nebo. I love Michaela. She's the greatest woman that I like watching. She's a really good fighter, but unfortunately she lost to Ramla Ali. She came off of 2 good wins. Her recent fight was I think, I'm not too sure. I think she just got a win. I want to say she knocked her out. She had to knock out her opponent. Yeah, she knocked her out in the 3rd round. That was a little 4-rounder. And then she KO'd her other opponent. I mean, these are 2 Mexicans that she fought. So, not really too much of a fight. I mean, they both gave her a good three rounds, total, make it 6 for her to get 2 back-to-back victories. So, this loss itself doesn't really define her as a poor fighter. But Ramla Ali, she simply outboxed Michaela. Michaela... Honestly, I really do respect Michaela. I think Michaela would be that type of fighter to be a very huge danger to a lot of people. But I think the problem with Michaela is that she doesn't make adjustments. She just comes forward and she doesn't really think about the opportunities that she has against a fighter that may have faster footwork than her. She didn't really cut off at the ring with Ramla, and it was pretty sad because I thought Michaela was going to do her thing and actually, try to work, the body, but, the whole fight, she was just there to headhunt, and it just didn't make any sense. I don't understand why Michaela really thought that was the right ideal, but I really thought Michaela, she tried her best. I don't take anything away from her. Styles do make fights, but I think stylistically, Rama, she wasn't really the type of woman to really win against Michaela. She just got lucky by keeping her at bay. And if Michaela had gotten better technical shots on her, Rama definitely would have broke down and possibly would have been stopped. Because, you know, I just think like how she looks like in a fight, she cannot keep those hands at bay with somebody that has boxing ability and more power, you know, in her shots. So I think like when we look at 126, you know, some fighters that I could even think that would be a good fight for Ramla, which I think Ramla would get brutally stopped, would be, I'll go with a fighter like maybe Diana Vargas. I don't think she's in this weight class, to be honest. Yeah, she is. Diana Vargas. She's ranked 38 on BoxRec. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Make that fight with Rama. I think honestly they're at the same level. But if she can't do that, maybe honestly, I don't really follow like the female featherweight division because it's so super weak, and it's like Rama, she could easily climb up pretty high. But you know, if you guys want to see like a good fight for Rama to get tested, fight Lucy Wildheart or fight Sophie Alish. I actually wouldn't mind those fights. That would be pretty good for her, and I think you know, that would be a good fight per se to give her the test. And I think that will definitely bring the best out of her. And I think that will determine how good of a fighter she can be. And if she's able to beat girls at that level, or I probably even say maybe a girl like shit, I really can't see any good fighters that would be. Oh yeah, Brenda Carabajal. Yeah, that would be a good fighter, but she's a top 10 opponent. Actually, I really want to mind that fight because it's not like she's really that good per se, but she's in the prime. She's in her prime, so I mean, I'd probably go for that fight. Or Licia Bordeza. That's a good fight. She's ranked number 5 on BoxRec. Honestly, like if Rama could show me different and she could still keep winning, then good for her. You know, I think you know, that'll be good for her, and that will determine how good of a fighter she is. I just don't really like how she fights because she fights very amateurish, and I could see her really getting tagged if she were to fight a girl around like Amanda Serrano's level. And I mean, even like a girl like Erica Cruz. I think Erica Cruz, she could easily beat Ramla. So I just don't think Ramla is ready, but I'm not hesitated to see the step ups going in because Rama is in her 30s and she needs to get all the big fights if she's wanting a world title as soon as possible. So I think that should be the main focus, and I don't know, honestly, like I think that should be the main ideal if she wants to bring it to that level, and I think she will do very fine. But you know, knowing she's associated with Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn, I don't think Eddie Hearn is going to give her, you know, a wolf, you know, like a wolf yet. You know, I don't think Eddie Hearn's going to give her a Titan type of fighter. And I think it's very weird how Michaela would have been her next opponent when it should be at least like somebody of higher caliber if she's wanting to make a statement. But I think she's going to do fine. I don't hold anything against her. I just really criticize her very amateur style stance, which makes her very vulnerable to getting caught by somebody. Because she does not have like the best defense in the world. Rama is very susceptible to getting hit. But the problem is that she just stands in front of you. And she only moves around when she's able to use her jab. Which, I mean, her jab is good, but it's like, you know, is it going to be good against someone that could hit you and hard counter you? And I think that's not going to be the case where she's going to keep someone away from her when she gets, you know, tested on her chin or tested to the body. So I think Rama knows that she has a lot of deficiencies, you know, to work on. So I don't think her contender status is there. She's a very prospect-ish. So I say give her some tough fights from here on out, so that way I could have like a better viewpoint to give her a lot more respect. But credits to Michaela, she did her thing. She had a pretty good outing in this fight. It's just that she needs to use better technical skills if she wants to break people down and use her advantages more. And I think she'll have a better answer if she continues to fight. So much love and respect to Michaela, and much love and respect to Rama. Good job for you. Khalil Cole versus Nathaniel Tad. This fight was a blowout. Khalil beat the shit out of this guy. I'm not really going to go too deep. This guy is the truth. Khalil is a fucking problem. I would definitely watch out for him because he'll probably move up to heavyweight. If not, definitely will dominate people for, maybe cruiserweight, but I don't think cruiserweight should be the next deal. It should be light heavyweight, get all the belts, and then go up to heavyweight. He'll be a star, and he's definitely there. So give this man the tough fights, and he will be beating the crap out of everyone. Next person is Jason Quigley versus Shane Mosley Jr. This is a very, honestly, this is a very disappointing fight. Jason Quigley basically styled on Shane Mosley Jr. This is a fight that I thought Shane Mosley could win, but he basically let the whole boxing world down by not performing as good. I think Jason Quigley is a good fighter, but the issue is just that he doesn't have the tools to actually keep someone away from him, and he gets tagged pretty quick. So I think Jason, he knows that deficiencies are way higher than his advantages, but I think Jason is just the type of guy to leave his hands very susceptible to getting hard countered when he knows that he should just be utilizing his jab more and stop going in, because that's really what he does. He keeps going in too much, and he keeps leaving himself wide open for either a check left hook or that straight right jab. But I think either way, he just needs to work on what he needs to work on, and he'll be fine. Credits to Jason, you won. He kind of treated this like this is like a title fight. This wasn't really a title. This is why all these belts, all these unnecessary semi-belts should really get the fuck out of boxing. I think Jason Quigley, he's a good fighter, but if you're gonna win a mandatory or ranking contender position, these should be medals rather than belts. At least get a medal, so that way it could show your worth in the rankings to be a very good, credible victory. And it's good that Jason got this victory, because Shane Mosley, he is the son of the legendary Shane Mosley Sr., and I'm happy that Jason Quigley, you beat him, because I knew at some point Shane Mosley, he's going to be a make or break type of fighter, and he broke. But I think Shane Mosley, he knew that fight was going to be close, and I think honestly that the scorecards were a bit weird, but I had Jason winning, so I think rematch is going to definitely happen. So stay tuned for that. The next fight is South Africa's up and coming rising contender, Azinga Fusilli versus Martin Joseph Ward. This guy, Martin Joseph Ward, I never really liked him. I kind of thought of him to be such a very easy, watered down opponent, and he definitely showed why British fighters are not that good. And I'm definitely gonna get to the co-main event, because I'm gonna have some words about that. But Azinga Fusilli knocked out Martin Joseph Ward with a good check right hook right to his face. And Martin, he broke down. I think his legs were hurt, which I don't blame him. I hope you feel better. But, he got his ass whooped. Just admit it. You got your ass whooped. You had no defense. And like all British fighters, they are break fighters. A good number of them break in fights, and then when they get hit, they don't make those adjustments. They just keep going, and then boom. You get knocked down and you get knocked out. So credits to Azinga. I think he is the goods. I think he just needs to work more on, letting his hands go when he sees the counter more. And I think eventually he's just gonna have that Mortal Kombat mentality to be a problem at 130. I'm not saying that he's gonna be a guy to beat Shakur Stevenson or any of those type of guys, but if he's willing to dare to be great, go for it. Because I wanna see you. I want to see this guy in bigger top 5 or top 10 ranking contender fights. So if he's able to make those fights happen, go for it. And I think that's what's going to happen, because he's now the mandatory for the IBF, or he's basically going to wait for the winner of Shafikaz, Rakimov, and that other guy that's going to fight him. So I think that's going to be a good fight. Good for him. I'm proud of him, and this is one of South Africa's up and coming rising contenders. So I think every time when he steps up to get those high level contender fights, good for you. Because I want fights like that. You can't just be telling me that in order to be the best, you got to duck your best competition and fight guys that you could beat. No, I used to wrestle back in high school. There was no such thing as ducking, in wrestling when it comes to high school or even at a college, level. Even though that I never competed in college, but I'm going to let you know that you can't duck nobody in wrestling. But boxing seems to be the only sport in the world where you could duck your contemporaries and you could easily get away with it and make it to a world title. So I think that's really the biggest problem right now, because boxing needs to be fixed on that. Boxing needs to have like an NBA like structure where if you want to make it to the top, you gotta fight. Yeah, you gotta fight all the top competition. You just can't be fucking around and just thinking like, oh, I can get away with it, blah blah blah. I don't need to be fighting contemporaries. I don't need to be fighting people that I know I can beat. No, you have to be fighting guys that you don't know if you can beat them. So I think that's really the biggest deficiency right now in the sport of boxing. And I hope that does get fixed, because this shit needs to be fixed, man. And I hope it does, because it's like, you spend your hard-earned money from work to see like a good fight. You should be seeing all the best fights in boxing. So, good job for Azinga. I hope he continues to keep winning and take out all these bitch-made fighters in the game of boxing, man. Except for, coincidentalist fighters. So, good for him. He did his thing. I respect him. I'd probably say, like, future fights would be maybe Gabe Flores or somebody down the line, but I think he's going to wait for the winner for Shafikats, Rakimov, and that other dude that he's going to fight. So, I can't wait for that fight. Hopefully, we get to see Azinga put on a performance, because from what DAZN commentator said, Azinga lost to Shafikats Rakimov. So I think either way, it really shows a lot of tragic deficiencies of contemporaries being beat. So hopefully we get to see something different. So I hope that really does happen for the future. So good, good for Azinga. I hope he gets his, revenge to beat the crap out of, Rakimov. So, yeah, let's get on with the co-main event. Chantel Cameron versus Miss Melissa Hernandez. She did very okay for Chantel, but I don't think she really put on like a really good performance per se. It was just like the type of fight where I wasn't really expecting her to actually go, that hard, and she wasn't really hurting, Melissa. Melissa seemed to be like a little bit buzzed, but Melissa, she did her thing. Unfortunately, this fight got stopped on some bullshit where, Chantel was hitting Melissa, with some decent shots, not really like the best shots in the world, but I think honestly it just never made sense, because the fight itself really just didn't define what the fight should have been. And I think Chantel, she obviously got lucky with the referees coming in to stop the fight, and Melissa was like, yo, what the fuck, this fight should have needed to be stopped. And the piece of shit ref stopped it because he thought, oh well, she got hit too much, which she wasn't getting hit too much. She got hit with like a couple 1-2s, and then when it came to the ropes, Chantel hit her with like a right hand, which didn't make any sense. But the ref thought, oh, okay, she got hit with the right hand, got pushed off to the ropes. So it means that I need to stop it because one, they're women, and women get hit, you know, get hit worse compared to men, you know. So that means by that logic, you know, I need to stop it, and that made absolutely zero sense. The fans obviously disagreed with, you know, the stoppage. It made no fucking sense at all. Oh, by the way, this is for Chantel's WBC super lightweight title, but for 140, by the way. But still, you know, it still didn't make any sense. Chantel didn't really have too much of a answer, you know, when it came to, you know, Melissa's, you know, hard counters. But I think if Melissa was gonna get her groove on, because she definitely, you know, had like a huge inactive output with her not fighting that much. I think she's been out the ring for at least 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at her tapeology. Yeah, it was against Selena Barrios. Yeah, that was 2 years ago, back in April of, you know, April 27th, 3 days before my birthday. But you know, Melissa, she did everything okay up until the referee made a bullshit stoppage, which she wasn't hurt, by the way. So for anybody that says Melissa is garbage, you have to go and watch, you know, the fight for yourself and look at that. Chantel's power was not there. She said that she was going to knock out, you know, Melissa, but she couldn't knock her out. So the referee had to, you know, make it seem like, oh, she got hurt too much because she's a woman, so I got to come in and stop it. And, you know, it was absolutely bullshit. At the end of the day, both girls gave a lot of respect to each other. You know, honestly, you know, I'm not the one to be pissed off, not just because I support Melissa, and, you know, I like Chantel. She, you know, she's a good fighter, but, you know, I'm not gonna give respect to a fighter that knew that she got a political advantage over me. Well, or he got a political advantage over me when, you know, the fight itself wasn't really supposed to be stopped. And I think either way, it shows that, you know, boxing is so goddamn corrupt, and it makes zero sense of how the fight itself is structured, because it shows that there are so many loopholes in the sport of boxing that people take advantage of, and people are so goddamn racist when it comes to the sport when they see a fighter that fights another fighter. So therefore, if it's like the young, ambitious young fighter like Chantel, which she wasn't really getting too many hits off of Melissa, but let's just be real, you know, Melissa was keeping her thing going up until at the very end when the referee made the bullshit stoppage. But either way, you know, the fight itself did not make any sense for the ref to, you know, stop the fight. But basically, to clarify my point, when a young, hungry fighter gets the advantage politically to hurt or to basically get a cheating, easy stoppage victory over a old, over-the-hill type of fighter, which I wouldn't say Melissa's really over the hill. She definitely is over her peak, but to be honest, it's not the type of reason to really stop a fight unless the older fighter is not going to make any adjustments to keep the younger fighter away. But if the older fighter was to be properly or fairly defeated by the younger fighter in terms of what the fight could have brought, it definitely would have showed that the older fighter should have been TKO'd a long time ago if the fight itself was supposed to be a, you know, runaway victory. But either way, I'm just making, you know, the point that when fighters on the hope list get that advantage to get a possible stoppage victory over fighters, you know, off the coincidental, it shows the pure double standards for men and women in the sport of boxing, where women, they don't really get that much publicity in the sport of boxing, but when it comes to certain fights in the sport of boxing, some women do get that advantage where they could use that to their, to their skill set and try to make the crowd agree that, oh yeah, this fighter doesn't belong with her, blah blah blah. So therefore the referee is going to somehow just stop the fight out of nowhere and think that's okay, knowing that the fight itself was still active, and you as a referee need to follow by your protocols and understand that a fighter is okay if fighters are still throwing exchanges. But if one fighter is not responding to another fighter's punches, which Melissa was, and she was going to continue, even though that Chantel was giving her some good shots, but Melissa, she was just about to get ready, then I think that kind of shows the racist double standard in the sport of boxing, that women don't really have too much, respect in the ring for a referee giving them the opportunity to fight until the referee comes in with like a bullshit stoppage. Because we've seen men banged up, and guess what? When men go at it, men go at it. Mike Tyson have definitely rocked so many guys in his career, and I will keep it real with you. It just shows like the double standard in the sport of boxing, that when Mike Tyson, when he gets somebody hurt, those people definitely keep on going until Mike Tyson can't hurt them no more, because those fighters either one got knocked out by him, or two, Mike Tyson, can't knock that guy out. And I mean, look, I don't blame him, because it's really hard to deal with a guy like Mike Tyson, because if Mike Tyson is able to do the things that he did in the ring, then it shows the bluff in the sport of boxing that people are so mentally afraid of, to think like, oh, women can't fight, so therefore if an older woman gets a little bit touched up more by the younger active woman, and the older woman's not even hurt, she's just taking some blows here and there, then the ref needs to stop it. That is pure disrespectful double standards in boxing, and that shit needs to go. I think the rule should be that if a fighter can't respond off the ropes or just in the fight itself, after 3 or more punches, then the referee should stop the fight if the fight itself cannot be won, if the fighter is not going to respond with proper punches. And I think that's how it should be in the sport of boxing, where that the fighter needs to at least show a little bit more activity in the ring, which, I mean, some of you idiots will probably say, oh, well, that's what refs already do, blah, blah, blah. They give the fighters like a chance, and if the fighter doesn't respond with any, punching activity, then he or she needs to stop it. And that's not really like my point. The fight itself should only be stopped if a fighter is not willing to throw punches back, or the fighter itself is hurt to a point where the fighter needs to be stopped, and then they think that they're okay, but at the end of the day, the fighter itself, just did not make any proper adjustments to all the big, more, I would say, powerful punches that made it to be, a bigger problem late game into the fight. But if you look at the fight itself, Chantel's power was not there. People want to say Chantel has power, and I really disagree with that. Chantel is not too much of a power puncher. She's more of like a volume puncher, but her power is really non-existent. I mean, if you even take a look at it with the Anaya Sanchez fight, Anaya Sanchez is a huge power puncher, and that fight alone really proved a lot of questions to be answered, that Anaya, even though she was a power puncher, and, let me just explain on, Chantel's style. Her style is just very brawler type. She doesn't have too much defense. She's very, one-dimensional, I would say. She doesn't really move around the ring too much. Her footwork is not really on par to be the best, but, when it comes to any moment of trying to make any proper adjustments, she sort of does that, but it's like, she's really not this super duper amazing fighter that gives her all the advantages over women in her division. I think if you put her up against like a woman like Amanda Serrano or Mary McGee, especially in her last fights that she has performed in, she would easily get stopped because the way she fights is too bad of a style where she gets easily, how should I say, she gets easily exposed to, do the things that she does in the ring. And it just seems like how she fights is just it's too lazy of defense to allow, a girl that could punch to really hit her. And I think that's what would happen in a fight against like Amanda Serrano or, Mary McGee or anybody to a level that knows how to box. And I think that's really her biggest downfall. She doesn't like, a woman that could move. And I think that, in her last couple of fights, she's been fighting women that don't move. They just stay inside the pocket and she's able to trade. And I mean, that's not really her advantages. Her advantages is just her getting good punches off, and then boom, she's able to make the good conventional adjustments to win. But it's not like she's really doing anything, I would say, spectacular. And she makes her holes in her game too simplified to have somebody of a better caliber to hit her, and she could get easily exposed. But either way, I hope Melissa, she's doing fine. She does have a good resume. She's been in there with some really, really good ladies, and I mean, credit to Chantel's career. But Melissa, she could have easily held her own in there. It's just that bullshit reps want to be evil and not give women, let their shine. But either way, Melissa, she has a good resume. She's dedicated to what she does, and she used to be a world champion, so it's not like it's really the end of the world to her or for her. She can easily make another comeback if she wants to. But hey, I wish nothing but the best for her, and I hope she does everything correct because she is a good fighter. But I think maybe due to the layoff, she wasn't really expecting too much of like a firefight. But I mean, the fireworks was good. But I think Melissa, she'll be well better off if she does come back again, and I hope she does because I think she does do a good stellar job when she's focused and she does everything correctly. But much love and respect to Melissa Hernandez. She is a very, very good fighter, and I hope that she does everything correctly because she's amazing. And Chantel, she's good too. But I want to see Chantel in there with some high tier competition, so that way these questions can be answered about her. Because I don't think too highly of British fighters. I think British fighters, show why they are not, how should I say, why they're not, like the best fighters in the world. And I think they show like the level of, I would say, level of low tier, how should I say, level of low tier abilities to do the things that they can't do. And their potential is so high, but the accuracy of their skills are very low, and I don't really like how they perform in terms of how they take punches and how they facilitate their defensive IQ. Because IQ wise, Chantel, she's not good at that, but offensive, she's okay. Not really the best, but she's okay. But if she's able to facilitate and dare to be great, okay, good for you. But Melissa, she could have done, the same exact thing. But I think Melissa, she was about to get her groove on. She was about to do a lot more damage late game. And I think that's what she was trying to do. She was just trying to get Chantel, hurt at some point. And I think the fight itself could have been won. I mean, it was only round 5 where the referee made a poor stoppage, decision. But Chantel, definitely had a lot of deficiencies in the fight itself. It just never really made any sense why the ref stopped it. But moving on to the main event, we have Mr. Devin the Dream Haney versus Jorge Linares. This fight alone was pretty good. I mean, I really do appreciate the fight. Devin came to fight, but Linares came to bang, and Linares had no answer for Devin's mastermind IQ. Devin basically beat Linares at his own game. First 10 rounds or 9 rounds leading up until the end of the 10th round, Devin basically styled on, Linares. And Linares did do a lot of excessive, how should I say, excessive punching that made himself very predictable. And Devin just basically just beat the crap out of him. It was too much of an easy fight for Devin, where Devin just made it look too easy. But, the style itself presented a little bit of, I would say, like, confusion to solve the puzzle. And I think Devin himself really did try. It's just that he had a lot of harsh moments in the fight itself that made the fight a little bit, difficult to determine how the fight itself was going to go. And I think that's how the fight really came to be a little bit confusing for Devin. But Devin got the job done. He did what he had to do. And I really do give him nothing but a lot of respect in this fight, because Devin, he proved why champions exist in boxing. I think Devin, did what he said he was going to do. And I think that's how Devin tried to do his best. And I give him nothing but all the respect in the world. And I hope he dominates. So I think Devin, he's a good fighter. And I hope Devin does what he has to do in his future fights. See, now, the issue that I really had was that Devin had a really good punch output that made Linares think a lot in this fight. And I think what really determined the output of this fight, it really showed that Devin is just that good at what he does. And I respect him on that level because he knows what he's doing and he makes it look too easy. The fight itself could have really went either way. And I think Linares, he did a good job by trying to keep the fight a little bit rough and tough. But Devin himself weathered the storm. And he did what he had to do. Shout out to BFTB. He made a really good fight call for the Devin fight itself. And I think that pretty much showed what Devin was capable of in this fight alone. But I think Devin, he knew what he had to do, and he pretty much disproved all the haters that tried doubting him. So I think Devin, he did a good job, but the one thing he should have done was that when he was going to bang with Linares, he should have kept his right hand up and had a little bit of a high guard to dysfunction Linares's, fast combinations. Because what Linares likes to do, he likes to mix it up, but he likes to find that good shot to make Devin susceptible. And that's what made Devin get caught in the 10th round, where he wasn't really able to, watch out for that secret little punch that Linares gave out to him. And Linares, basically just got like a lucky punch off of Devin, and Devin was on shaky, wobbly legs. But people want to say, oh no, Linares exposed Devin Haney, and it just didn't make any sense. It really just showed like the idiocracy of Devin Haney haters, to show why Devin Haney is not really like the type of person to like really, how should I say, he's not the type of person to get hurt, as people want him to be. And he definitely proved it. He did what he had to do. And I have nothing but love and respect for Devin. Shout out to his father. I was happy that he actually got the victory, man. Devin proved to the world why he is, the best. And Devin showed to Linares that he can bang, he could box. And honestly, Devin, he basically allowed Linares to hit him, with lucky shots, of course. But it's like, it just shows you that Devin Haney is the type of guy to make a fight a fight. And that's why we love to see that out of him, because Devin is that good. See, now, what Devin needs to do next time, if he ever fights a guy, similar to Linares' level, is that he needs to know when to keep those hands up when he's about to trade. Because when you trade, you have to have at least the other hand up when you use when you use your other arm. So I think Devin did an amazing job. It just showed that he just had a bit of deficiencies leading into the fight itself. And people want to call him like a huggy bear, trying to disrespect him, trying to be really rude to him, trying to say, oh man, I hope Tio knocks you out, blah blah blah. And it's like, really? You really think Teofimo is going to knock out Devin Haney when clearly Devin Haney was beating the crap out of Linares? Linares was a tougher fight compared to him getting a fight with Tio. I say again, Jorge Linares is a tougher opponent compared to Teofimo Lopez. And it showed that in the fight itself. And it showed that Devin Haney is just the type of guy that makes fights very difficult. I mean, if you really want to be real about it, Devin Haney is just the type of guy that makes your night look pretty bad. And I don't think it just shows how bad Devin Haney makes his opponents look like, but it just shows that Devin Haney is just the type of guy where he basically makes your night bad. Literally, it shows that Devin Haney is a good fighter, but it shows that Devin Haney is the type of fighter that knows how to dominate when he sees the opportunity. And I hope that he really shows that in his future fights, and I hope he does a good job. So, either way, congrats to Devin Haney. He did what he had to do, and I really hope that does become a sign of him improving. So, it pretty much shows that Devin Haney, he's a god at what he does. So, good for him. I respect him. I really do love what he had to do in this fight alone. So, let's move on into the next fight. I think, honestly, with this fight alone, on the Showtime card, let's talk about maybe the Kevin Johnson fight. I mean, he obviously knocked out this guy. Pretty easy fight. Atif Oberton, he did good. Much respect to him. The other guys, I don't really care too much about. Those fights alone didn't really impress me. But I'm gonna probably just talk about Subriel Matias and that Jukembaev guy. But I'm gonna talk about Gary Russell, Gary Russell's brother, Gary Antoine Russell. He did an amazing job. He unfortunately knocked out Giovanni Santiago, the same guy that fought Adrian Broner in his last outing, and got a controversial decision over him. Or basically, Adrian Broner defeated Giovanni Santiago. That fight alone really didn't make a lot of sense. I thought Giovanni actually won the fight, but Adrian Broner, he obviously got the nod, and it just didn't really make sense overall. I really do think that the fight itself could have went either way, and I think that's what really determined the outcome of that fight. So I think what happened was that Adrian Broner, he didn't let his hands go, but Gary Russell's brother, Gary Antoine, he let his hands go a lot more in this fight. So I think it showed how good of a fighter that Gary Antoine Russell is, because this guy is really good, and I think he is going to be a world champion extremely soon. I think he needs to fight a guy in the likes of Josh Taylor or Jose Ramirez or anybody at 140 that's willing to give him that opportunity. So I think that just shows how good he is and what good stuff he could do in this fight alone. So I think that it just shows the great opportunities that he has in the sport itself. So I think Gary Antoine Russell, he's a very good fighter, and I wish nothing but the best for his next upcoming fights. He did call out Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez, and all the other guys. So I really hope that does happen. I think those fights could easily be made, and I would definitely love to see those fights in the future. But I say for now, he's just going to keep racking up wins and just keep eliminating people that stand in his way. And I give him nothing but respect, because that is what true champions are built out of. So, good for him. Much love and respect to him. Now, let's go on with the real fight. I'll probably even just talk about Nonito Donaire and Ouubouali after. Or, I'll just go with Nonito. Nonito Donaire versus, Nordine Ouubouali. This fight alone just didn't make any sense. It kind of just showed like a very easy victory for Donaire. Donaire stopped Ouubouali. It was a pretty easy fight, in my honest opinion. I kind of really thought like that fight alone could have went either way, but it just kind of showed like the idiocracy, in the sport of boxing, how people see the fight itself. And I just don't know how I really saw that fight really go down itself, but I think the fight itself really was good. It just kind of just showed that a lot of people had I think Nordine trying to beat Ouubouali, and I think the fight itself just really I don't know, honestly. Nordine just wasn't really showing out. But either way, it's just like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I think people thought Nordine was gonna beat fucking Donaire that bad, but I think people were just sleeping on him. So it's just like, I just don't get it, man. But I'm happy that Donaire got the title, because I didn't want to see Ouubouali to really be there for too long. I thought he was just garbage. I thought he really had like nothing in the tank when it came to like round 2 and 3, and I actually just saw it to be an absolute blowout. So, I mean, good for Donaire doing his thing. I think either way, the fight determined who was the smarter fighter, and Donaire just proves time and time again that he is one of the best Filipino fighters ever. I think personally he's better than Manny Pacquiao. But that's just me, of course. People want to say different. They want to say that, Ouubouali is good, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, he really wasn't that good. He just kind of just proved how garbage he really is, because people really think like he's actually that good for the division. But I don't think so. I think Naoya Inoue is going to have to face at least Guillermo Rigondeaux or somebody at the high level. I don't know who, but I hope it happens. I really do, because that fight alone should happen between Naoya and Rigondeaux, and I think that should really determine if that fight will be a make or break fight, because I think that fight alone just shows like the pure talent and destruction of Naoya's power. But I would say honestly just who's better, because Rigondeaux, he's really good, but I don't think Naoya is that good. I think Naoya is very susceptible, and I think Naoya, he would easily get stopped by a guy like Nonito Donaire in his prime. And it just shows how terrible people just rate fighters when they haven't really looked at styles, as styles do make fights. And I think it just shows that the fight itself just never made any it just didn't make any sense, but the fight itself was just very susceptible. So I don't know, it just felt weird to me. But good job to Nonito. He beat the brakes off of that guy. And I hope Nonito, he comes back and he whoops that ass once again. Congrats to Subriel Matias. Yay for Puerto Rico. I hope Hernandez, she makes a comeback. But at least Puerto Rico got a victory today. We're 1-1, unfortunately. But good enough for fucking Subriel Matias. He did his thing, and I really thought Matias did what he had to do. And I think Matias, he just weathered the storm on Jukembaev. People thought Jukembaev was going to be a tough opponent. He was, but Matias, he just beat the brakes off him. He basically pulled off another Malik Hawkins victory, and I'm just happy that he won because now he is the official IBF mandatory for that fight. So even though that he defeated Jukembaev, I think the bigger question had to been maybe what he would do against tougher guys. Like I don't know, if he faces Gary Russell's brother, that would be pretty good. I would like to see that fight. I would like to see how that goes. I think that fight alone would make a lot of sense, but I don't know who would be in the IBF rankings, which I could check it right now. I could check IBF 40-pound rankings, and then we'll see who's there, because we know that Mr. fucking Subriel Matias has to be here. Super lightweight, there we go. WBC Batir Akhmedov. Alright, we're here. Wait, what? No, we want 140. Thank you, 140. Alright, we're here. Jose Zepeda. He's number 1 by the WBC. Josh Taylor. Yeah, Josh Taylor has all the belts. Yeah, this is not even updated. What the fuck? Okay. IBF ratings. Come on. We got to... Yeah, we got to get to IBF 140. Let's go. Submit. As of April or May. Yeah, we need May. Alright. Alright, so we'll just do as of April. Alright, so we have Josh Taylor. He's undisputed. Let's see. Matias is ranked number 7. So now that he beat Jukembaev, he's basically number 1. So that would have to be pretty much him being next in line for the belt, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. I think it would be very interesting to see where that goes. But I think either way, it shows that Matias, he's on his way to greatness, and I'm happy for him. So I hope he does what he has to do, because, he's a good fighter. And I wish him nothing but the best. So, I really hope that could happen. And, yeah, I'm really happy, bro. I'm happy that Matias, he got that victory. So, good for him. So, yeah, let's go and get out of here. So good for him. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the live. I wanted to get this out the way anyway. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. And I will see you guys later. Thank you and goodbye. And have a good day. Bye.